Hey guys, so I'm in Spain this week for a wedding. One of my dearest friends, Ramon, from university, um, got married. And honestly, I couldn't be happier for him. It was such a beautiful celebration. Um, Lots of love, laughter, dancing, and a few tears of joy as well, here and there. Um, but this trip for me, guys, has also given me some space to really reflect, not just on my friendships, but on my journey as an entrepreneur, as a manufacturer, as, a woman in business. It's funny how life really does that. It's almost like what started as a trip to sort of celebrate love has also made me actually stop and think about the paths that we all sort of take, the paths that we've taken as individuals, the dreams that we all had back in the day, me, Ramon, Ade. Those late nights, we used to talk about our futures over drinks, over dinner, hanging out in places like Shoreditch in London, the heart of London. Our bonding moments, and how those dreams have sort of evolved into something real for us all. Very good friends, very, very good friends who sort of stuck with me over the years, through my journey, through my evolution, through my growth, even sometimes through my disappearance, the life of an entrepreneur. And we also obviously live in very different countries now. They're both still here in England. I'm over here or over there in Nigeria. And sort of, when I've talked about my entrepreneurial journey, and I have talked about it quite a bit on my platforms, right? You guys have seen firsthand and sort of followed me along that journey. Sometimes in a way that might actually make some people a little bit uncomfortable when I talk about this journey. Because let's face it, we're not glamorizing it, right? Entrepreneurship is not just about passion and excitement and goals. It's rough. It at times is actually very painful. I dare say even exhausting a lot of the time. It's a call on your resilience as an individual consistently. It's a fight to keep going, especially when the world sometimes feels like it's stacked against you, whether it's because you're a woman, whether it's because you're African, whether because you're living in Africa, or maybe even both. And while I have been here in Spain, it's hard to not notice how smoothly things actually run here. I'm all for, sticking to your journey and fighting the good fight and keep going and building that energy of resilience. But it's also glaring to see that, things work better in other places. That's the undeniable truth, right? The infrastructure, the systems, it all just works. And in the time that I've been in Spain, over the last few days, I'm seeing that things just work. It is what it is, right? And it hit me. Back home in Nigeria, we're still battling inefficiencies. We're battling bureaucracy. And let's be real, systems that don't always seem designed for us to succeed. Sometimes it takes you removing yourself from there and going elsewhere for you to see maybe just how bad it can be or how bad it is. But here's where I've been doing some much deeper thinking over the last few days. And I hope that you can stick with me on this one as I try to sort of articulate it. Maybe instead of waiting for things to change back at home in Africa, back at home in Nigeria, maybe it's time that we start rewriting the rules for ourselves. Like, why are we waiting for permission to thrive? Waiting for somebody to do something for us, hand over something to us, just sitting and expecting. Why are we waiting for someone else to tell us and set for us the standard when we could be sitting and setting them for ourselves on our own? I'm talking about creating our own path as entrepreneurs, as manufacturers in Africa, as builders of industry in Africa. We have the talent, that can't be denied. We certainly have the drive, because how else have we survived this long, right? And we certainly have the vision. But why can't we lead? I think sometimes we forget that leaders are not born, they're built. And sometimes we forget that the onus is on actually us to do the building. Maybe sometimes we're sitting too long expecting somebody else to build for us. We're looking at nations that have gone through history of building, histories of tearing things down only to rebuild them again. Countries where they have not shied away from taking full ownership and responsibility for their own development. You know, even sometimes when it's very complicated, because history is very, very complicated, right? Many people have stepped on others to get to where they are today. But this video is not really about that. Whatever it is taken for you to build, you've got to do it yourself. This wedding, this whole trip in Spain, has been a beautiful reminder for me. Yes, we celebrated love, but we also need to celebrate the work that we've put in, the work that I've put into my friendships, the work that my friends have put into me. We were not able to celebrate wholeheartedly and authentically this weekend had we not built those relationships. You know, it would have just been another wedding that I've gone to as a guest. But no, it was in some ways, the wedding was also in some ways mine, because I was really there to celebrate my brother, my friend. I was seeing the evolution of our relationship and how I have been part of his journey. Had we not been intentional about building those relationships or that particular relationship, my experience of this weekend's wedding wouldn't necessarily have been the same. You know? Yes, we indeed did celebrate love, but we also celebrated our friendship. But more importantly, we celebrated the work that we had put in to sustaining and building that friendship. It reminded me of the work that we've done, and in some strange way of connecting it to entrepreneurship and my journey, it also reminded me of how far we've come, but yet how much further that we are going, or how much further that we're willing to also go. For me, my business has always been about producing excellence, even in spaces that try to tell me that I can't. But I can, and we can, and we will. So in all the celebration, in all the ups and downs of the journey, for me, it's all connected, right? It's all connected. My love for my friends, my family, my business, my journey. For me, there's a thread that runs through all of it. So my takeaway from this wedding, this weekend, this breakaway from Africa, from work, to be with my friends, it was just a reminder that let's stop waiting for someone to hand us a seat at the table. Let's stop asking for permission to do the things that are necessary for us to build. the relationships, the business, the idea, the friendships. Let's create the space and the spaces that we want to be in ourselves. Not just for ourselves, but for those who are coming up behind us as well. Let's set the example. Because we can certainly thrive if we're intentional about it. You know? So this break has been great. I've had a fantastic time. It's been a much needed break that I needed to spend time with my friends, to really bond and to create even more lasting memories. I was honored that I was a part of this very, very, very momentum stage of his life. And I just feel really blessed. I feel really, really blessed. You know, I feel really, really blessed. So just wanted to share that with you guys a little bit. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time of the day is that you're watching this. And as per usual, please do take care of yourselves and don't forget to be extraordinary in the way that only you can be. Bye, guys.